in this Tubi release. We watch as teenage boys and girls are sent to this Catholic camp to repent and reform due to them acting depraved, only to learn that there is no salvation at this camp and all they will receive is judgment. To summarize the film, Cammy is sent by her father to a very conservative Catholic-based camp where she is expected to repent for her sins, of which seemingly is just being caught having sex in church. But she isn't alone. There's a group of boys and girls who range from revealing or else being found out for being homosexual to other things that have also been forced to come to this camp, which has a bit of a reputation. Allegedly 20 years ago, somebody killed a bunch of people who were at the camp. It isn't necessarily proven, but considering there's an electrified fence and the people who run the camp, Tawny and Eugene, are very weird, when it comes to the teens who are stuck in this weird environment, it seems like the perfect setup for, if there is a killer, for them to strike again. So getting to the review portion, what we like about this film is that despite the assumption that this is very much going to be about nudity and sex as a cheap hook, that's not the case. While there is nudity, it's mostly in male backsides, and while there are multiple sexual situations, it doesn't feel like this film is trying to do like a lot of horror movies do, especially that don't have like big names attached to it, where it's trying to exploit young, vulnerable actors and have them do the type of things that help you understand why there's now coordinators on sets regarding nudity, sex scenes, and stuff like that. Instead, what this film seems to want to present, similar to Sex Positive, is that sex is normal, is a beautiful thing when it's consensual, and while there are many taboos that exist, some for very valid reasons, most of the time, when it comes to society, they're trying to control your pleasure and a means to control what can potentially bring you joy. But getting to the on the fence portion, one of the things that kind of frustrated us a little bit is that when it comes to killer body count, I just got what the name of this movie meant. Anyway, the reason, when it comes to killer body count, it doesn't do much in the way of character development. Now, Cammy, who's the lead actor, it goes into a relationship with her father to a certain degree, talks about her mother, and gives you a sense of who she is. Unfortunately for the other characters, that's not necessarily done. One character, for example, named Bree, you don't really get to find out why exactly is she in this camp at all. For the guys, who are all very generic, you get that they're supposed to be stereotypical teenage boys who enjoy anything from masturbation to finding girls to have sex with. Maybe guys, I don't know if they actually said if any of the dudes are queer, but getting to the point, most of the characters in this film are either like Bree when you're not really sure why they're there, or else they're pushed into an area similar to Allie and a few others where you know they're there just because they're not bad kids, but just exploring their sexuality, exploring what it means to feel pleasure or give someone else pleasure. But it's not taken to the point of where it seems like it's any depth to it. It's not to the point, again, that it's over-sexualized, but it's at the same time, there's not an effort to make this into a type of movie which really wants to explore what it means to be a teenager exploring your body or exploring someone else's. And just to follow up on that for the second topic of the on the fence portion, this film walks very much a tightrope, and considering where horror has kind of gone in the last few years, it's kind of weird that Killer Body Count doesn't desire to take advantage of its comedic characters in Tawny and Eugene, who are very weird, yet at the same time it doesn't want to get into the seriousness of how oppressive these kids' faith or their parents' faith is regarding their coming of age. It doesn't even, as noted, really dive into their coming of age in terms of exploring what they like, what they don't like, why they don't like it, maybe triggers and stuff like that. Instead, somehow this film plays it safe in the weirdest way possible, and it does so to the detriment of all that it potentially could have been, even though I recognize not all content that comes online or is created has to have a message, but you can see with all the possibilities that Killer Body Count had, it avoiding becoming more than what it is has made it just new content to put on to Tubi's platform, and that's something that can actually stand out. Overall, when it comes to Killer Body Count, it's something decent to watch, but it does push you to wonder if it is better to play it safe and be forgettable, or really push the different themes, messaging, and topics that could risk you being spoken of negatively, but at least it'll get people talking in a way that will make it so you don't just have 15 minutes of fame because you're the newest thing out there.